These are the style of straps I have, so Tagiwa, just a wire strap. So I think somehow I've got to fit that onto there. So here's the plan I've come up with. So 12 M12 bolt with a big washer. I think it's one of the ones you normally use for a seatbelt mount, I think, or something like that. Anyway, that through there, down through there, and then Loctite the nut underneath, because I'm not going to get any form of, well, I might be able to get a washer in there, I guess, but yeah, I'm going to go for Loctite. Well, I haven't Loctited it on at the moment. I've just sort of put it on and mocked it up. I'm not madly keen on it, I have to say, because what I've realised is this bit is going to stick out from the back of the bumper, whereas actually all I wanted coming out of the bumper was the cable. Just been chatting to Rob at 4040. Wish I'd have called him in the first place. What he said is, don't mount them here, actually mount them on this strut thing coming out of the body. So bolt down through there. I'll probably have to beat this down or something. I'm not quite sure how I get that over there. Actually, I could put another washer on the other side of this and pack it up a bit. I've got some absolutely massive bolts. It's going to have to go down through both sides of this strut thing. So I'll have to go through the top and then out of the bottom. Of course, it hasn't got to bolt down and lock tight as long as it doesn't come undone. And I've got some nylock nuts, so it won't it won't shake loose. And the bolts are massive, so they'll certainly take the strain. The downside of this, of course, which was the thing I was trying to avoid and being lazy, is I'm going to have to take the bumper off, the crash bar off. So I'll have to undo these 4 things here and then, or 3. Yeah, 3, and then the same the other side, and take that off, drill it, put the toe piece on, and then put it all back on the car. Luckily, I haven't cut anything. I haven't cut the bumpers, so no harm's done. It does mean that I've just ordered 2 webbing straps that I now don't need, which is a bit of a pain. But other than that, should be good. Here's what I've come up with. So I've drilled a hole right the way through. You can see it goes right through there. And then this is the size of bolt I need. Luckily I had one. It's the only one I've got, actually. It's 110 mil from the underside of the head to the end of the bolt, and it's 115 overall length. I can't remember which way you normally measure them, but anyway, that's the size bolt it is. Then I've got this square washer, which is, I think, was one that I had for putting a seatbelt mounts in. So that goes through. Then the cable goes through there. And then I had to make this up. I had some, do you know what? I think it's 5 mil. Is that 5 mil? Let me have a quick check of the size of that. It's 6 mil, or that's 1/4 inch, isn't it? Yeah, 1/4 inch. So 6 mil bit of plate steel. Cut it in the. I sort of cut it using this as the pattern, the washer, and then drilled a hole through the centre. That goes on next, and then that goes through this. Okay, so it goes through there like that. Oh, the other thing I did, which I should show you, is you can see I cut a bit of a relief. Whoops. I cut a bit of a relief here in the in this strip, this sort of fold of the steel. I've ground it down to where the welding starts, so it just gives me a little bit of relief to get that through there. And on the other side, I'm going to put a washer, oops, and then a nylock nut. We'll have to tap this through and then tighten it up, but basically those are the components for the strap, the rear strap. And that's it assembled, so you can see there. Obviously it's not going to take any vertical load, it's all lateral, sort of, you know, across the shaft of the bolt, so no, it's not going to take too much stick. You can see it's distorted the washer slightly where I've tightened it up, but yeah, I think that's good enough. I haven't distorted the actual shape of the this sort of structure here, this crash structure, so we should be good. Here's a point of note, look how close these are together. So this bolt size, I got really lucky here, but this bolt size of 110 or 115 end to end looks pretty critical, because obviously if it was a little bit longer it would foul on the threaded thing that comes out of the body to mount the crash structure on. I thought I'd just make a note of that before I started to move on to the next stage. So the next stage is going to be, obviously I'm going to have to cut a slot in the rear bumper to accommodate the strap, which is going to come out directly above the existing tow hook hole. It's a real shame I couldn't have sort of made it come straight out of there, but I would never be able to get this loop through. So yeah, somebody needs to come up with something better for this. I think this is more trouble than it should be. It should be really easy, but just seems to be a lot of hassle. And then the other thing I'm going to have to do is cut the rear bumper to accommodate the rear catalytic converter. Had a bit of a crisis of confidence then. At first, the tow hook, you see I cut the slot, the cable was wrenched across sideways, and I was thinking, oh no, I hope the crash structure behind is not different on these cars, but I don't think it is. I just didn't have it lined up properly. I do have a bit of a problem here. That seems very low, but I think it's just a matter of me pushing this bit in further. This is a sort of a bit of a trial fit. I wanted to make sure everything worked out okay. Now the interesting thing is that, as far as I can tell, I may not have to cut that any further. And that's strange, because the ones I've seen at the track, in fact even 41, the car I've been driving, the ridge here actually rests on the top of the catalytic converter. Now it could be that I've got the catalytic converter tilted slightly differently, or this back box. So I'll look at that. But the other thing was, at first it didn't look as though it was going to fit at all. Now I just thought I'd tell you about this because it's worth knowing. If I can get this to focus, you've got to make sure that you pull this down and get this bit underneath this metal protrusion on the crash structure, because otherwise it holds it a long way away and then it doesn't fit. You know, it all seems to be completely wrong, and then you push that, you pull that down under the crash structure Same on the other side, you can see just there. And suddenly it all sort of falls into place. Now I've got to take it off again because I didn't connect the lights, you know, the number plate lights. I did it on purpose, but because I was just going to do a trial fit, but now I'm beginning to wish I'd have just connected the lights up and just pushed the whole thing on and got it done. But anyway, I'll just whip this off again, connect up the lights, and then see if I can get everything to line up. All right, seems like brute force is the answer here. There you go. Just thump it. That's the answer. So you begin to get an idea of what it's going to look like with the two colours. It's all right. I don't know. I'm running out of funds. I can't just keep flinging more and more money at it. So I had thought about having the whole car wrapped, but it's really difficult to justify. I haven't got any sponsors, so I haven't got to do it in a particular colour scheme for a sponsor. And like I keep saying, it's probably going to get scuffed all down the side within a few races. So, you know, spending money on having panels sprayed or wrapped just doesn't seem worth it. So I think we're going to have to go with it as it is. It doesn't look dreadful. At least the grey is a metallic and the blue is a metallic, and the grey and the blue are not too bad as a colour combination. But yeah, it is what it is, as they say.